This is a message to uno people where I run out and I come talk about Andrew Wellness this and Andrew Wellness this. Andrew Wellness this and Andrew Wellness that. But me tell you something you not getting on a bumbo blood clot head. Some people are going to get help. Some are going to get little. Some are going to get full help. Some are going to get half a help. Some are going to get quarter help. And some are going to help them bumbo clot self. The Prime Minister can't help everybody. No money in our country for help everybody. So I fuck around our chat. Some people have to just use their money where they have and help themselves. Them are going to try to help the poorer set. And the people them will have their money try to help themselves. I want to start play a blame game and I talk about Prime Minister this and Prime Minister blood clot that. We are going to need help from all over the world. You know, don't pan Prime Minister. If the Prime Minister only can do a little when can do. Billions of dollars it go cost to fix back the country. Billions. The country can't fix back for now. Years and years it go take for fix back. So the stop call up a man name every minute about Prime Minister do what? What Prime Minister fi do? You think he can go every parish? You think he can help every parish? To how who not talk? A 70% of the country mash up. Which why you think the Prime Minister fi get money fi go fix 70% of the country? We have to wait for England fi come help, America fi come help, China fi come help, all different kind of country fi come put in hand. You know, see a wrecky country wreck. We gone back about 40 years behind. So no stop play blame game about Andrew Wellness, Andrew. Everybody have to play them part. Me have to play with my part. You have to play your part. Your mother have to play a part. Your father, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your niece. Everybody have to play a little part in this. This is going to take decades for the country to go back like how the country is. Be a fucker, someone want to come on social media, come chat.
Welcome to True Jamaica Buzz, news and entertainment with a buzz. The lady that you heard in the start of this is the atypical defender of Andrew Wellness, defender of the JLP, defender of his inefficiency, the way that he has been dealing with Hurricane Melissa, the aftermath, as it pertains to the relief funds, as it pertains to the plight of the people, their sufferation and their emergency dire need for help. People are actually crying out for help. People are actually hungry. People are actually thirsty. People are actually marooned away from the relevant authority. However, purses are making effort, meaning locally. Purses are actually reaching them, meaning internationally. So there's an organization, international organization, humanitarian group known as Cajun Navy, our United Cajun Navy official. They leave all the way from America and they're out here and they're putting in the groundwork, they're putting in the flooded river work. And they're actually reaching these maroon communities in which persons are in dire need, desperate need for help. I want you to take a look to one of those videos that they've done and posted on social media. And then I'll give my piece.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Josh. I'm sitting here with Anna and her beautiful family. We have a huge concern. I'm going to show you what the concern is right now, guys. We're on Reading Road, and if you see, we've got a stranded community this way, right? So I need boats. I need air assets. You send me helicopters. You send me everything I need to get to these people. There's about 300 people back here stranded, guys. It's been like this since the hurricane. We have the assets available. We need people to get off their ass now and start supporting this mission. This ain't no joke. Let's get off our asses, people. All back here, look. Stranded community. If we can't, I'm gonna go back there. They've been getting back there in a refrigerator, guys. Paddling a damn refrigerator to go help people out. Come on. We know the resources are there. Let's start moving.
Now, people, when we see stuff like this, isn't it kind of sad that the persons that you've been out campaigning for, ringing up the bell, up on top of bus, Every day with your flag, every day I make up all sorts of posts. And I say, yes, this is the government that we want, and this is the best government for Jamaica. However, isn't it ironic, that the same sort of people what we used to see in our video, some people we call redneck, some white people, are actually out here, don't have any family members here, don't have any ties to Jamaica, but they're out here risking their lives, finding all of these places that you claim are maroon from the government, that the government claims them are do all sorts of strategy they are planning, strategizing, assess and analyzing while persons are marooned. This is not Photoshop. This is not video editing. This is real life situation. So the persons that you least expect that are going to help you are the ones that are most helping us and the ones that we most expect that was going to help us because of all the effort that you guys gave for this person to be nominated because he is the best person for the job. Well, people, if he's the best person for the job and this is what he's doing, and this is the inefficiency that we're seeing, God help us if the worst person or the worst party, meaning the PNP, would do way, way worse than this. People, like me say, this is not political, this is factual. So people, I let you hear what the typical JLP defender of Andrew Holness, no matter what wrong he does, how inefficient, how incompetent he is, had to say. And then I let you hear from an organization that is based outside of Jamaica, but hit the ground running, the floods running, and are doing things, are putting in the work without all of these aid that we see coming into Jamaica from the international community as it pertains to relief. I am going to let you hear what a reputable journalist said when she asked a question to the information minister as to why things are taking so long. Take a listen, take a look.
Minister, billions of dollars are going to be coming in terms of relief. Why have we not yet heard the announcement of an independent oversight committee to include, for instance, private sector, civil society, and opposition members to monitor the expenditure that is going to be done along with regular reporting to Parliament? What we don't want is an Auditor General's report 6 months after the fact. Second, I've been hearing everything that's been said. However, the national response, the immediate national response, has been slow and inadequate. The government has been acting as if it didn't know the kind of damage that a Cat 5 would have done. Why have we not seen immediate deployments of mass aid to the affected communities, along with things like immediate erection of warehouses to hold such aid, immediate erection of mass shelters and or evacuations? And then finally, for now, why had we not seen an equivalent in-time response to Westmoreland as there was to St. Elizabeth, seeing that that was where the eye of the hurricane made landfall? So it was obvious that there would also have been catastrophic damage there.
Now, people, again, this is Dion Jackson Miller, reputable journalist, respected journalist. You know, in Jamaica, there's not really a democratic process, especially as it pertains to journalists. Journalists have been blacklisted. Journalists, radio personalities have lost their job because they come out and said something that is anti-Andrew Holness, anti-JLP. That is a fact. So therefore, this lady speaking, she is speaking because she is touched. She knows that she is jeopardizing or probably jeopardizing being blacklisted in the media. Blacklisted off a TV, blacklisted by the station that she works for. However, her emotions, the human in her allows her to talk and talk the truth. Factual. Things that she's saying are facts that people can go up on Google and search. This is not something that she's making up. Everybody is seeing it with their own eyes. Well, not everybody. Some people are blinded, and like they say, The worst type of loyalty or blind loyalty is worse than no loyalty at all. So people, you hear what the journalists have to say. Now when you think about the fact that, yes, we see St. Elizabeth is getting a lot of help. St. Elizabeth is still woefully lacking in the help that it should have been getting, meaning the efficiency, more like inefficiency of the government and the relevant authority in dragging their feet. However, when it comes to Westmoreland, which I think is a PNP stronghold, I think Dayton Campbell, don't quote me on this, we see that the response is even less efficient. They are definitely dragging. And even when we saw that that MP came in a parliament and was trying to talk, he was shut up by the Speaker of the House, who happens to be the wife of the Prime Minister. So the question that we have to ask is this, based on persons that are always saying and critiquing and saying that even when persons are giving constructive criticism, they are always politicizing everything. Well, if the politicians who are supposed to be bipartisan, who are not supposed to be partial to one party, are actually politicizing everything, because based on the fact that St. Elizabeth is getting more help, St. Elizabeth is more a JLP hotspot. As it pertains to Westmoreland, not so much JLP, more PNP hotspots. So is this the reason? Well, people, the politicking did not stop there. There's an ex-PNP MP that went to Parliament and she was speaking out and she was asking questions that a lot of persons want to know. I want you to take a look at exactly what she had to say, and then I'll give my piece.
My other question, Prime Minister, is about the accuracy of reports versus the reality on the ground. What you presented here today, I must tell you, painted a picture I wish was the case for us in South St. James. It sounded as if there was some military precision in how we prepared for the storm and hurricane rather, and how we responded to it. And I want to thank everybody who helped, the JDF, the JCF, the outsiders, whomever else. But as is the case in South St. James, and it could also be because the data gaps are so wide and so glaring, that we have not seen that kind of treatment that you laid out for us here today. So we didn't see the JDF people rappelling down from ropes and bringing food to the people in these remote communities. We did not see the JDF and the JCF and the NWA and all these agencies.
The member from South St. James is misleading the House, Madam Speaker. At no point and at no time in the Prime Minister's presentation did he speak about persons jumping out of helicopters, as you just said a while ago. Madam.
Most of us appreciate English language and understand similes and metaphor, but you'll get there.
Wait a minute.
Wow, I'm dead.
Now, Madam Speaker, Prime Minister, and thank you. I was speaking to the reports you were receiving. I'm certain you did not go there and collect that information yourself, but you're relying on those in the field to provide you with information so you can make the best decisions. And I'm saying that what was shared here today doesn't reflect the reality we had on the ground in South St. James. As someone who walked across the constituency from Wednesday until Sunday and returns there tomorrow, I speak as their mouthpiece to say to you, Prime Minister, that what you have received, consider, or will you consider that it may be embellished and not truly reflective of what we're experiencing? That's a question. My next question is about the scale of the damage and inadequate allocations. And I want to thank you and thank your cabinet for considering that $10 million allocation to a constituency like South St. James. But when you get a chance, and I know you have a long list of places to go, Prime Minister, will you consider coming to South St. James and these constituencies on foot this time and see for yourself the scale of the damage? I know that data Data is not our strong point in Jamaica. We don't collect enough data to show you that 5 or 10 or whole communities have been wiped out.
Now, people, you heard what the politician had to say, be it from the PNP side. What the Prime Minister is saying versus the reality on the street is the polar opposite. All of what he said that he is doing is not what we are seeing. So therefore, he is not doing enough, or he is not doing nothing, none at all. And I cannot say that he is not doing enough, or is not doing nothing, none at all. I can definitely say that he is not doing enough. Based on the fact that this is a dire, desperate situation, and it calls for emergency, meaning you have to get up off of your ass and you have to move. Because the more time that you take, is the more that persons are going to lose their lives. So people, I laid out a couple of stuff that actually took place. I let you hear from the JLP. I let you hear from the media, who is supposed to be neutral. And I let you hear from the PNP, who they have their opinion on things and they want to be a part of the relief process. They want the money and the grants and the aids to be allocated. So pretty much the moral of the story is that what most persons are saying, be it the journalists, be it persons who are vocal, is that we are not seeing enough being done. And enough is not being done based on the fact that all of the manpower, all of the resources, all of the money, well, not all of the money, but the money that has already been allocated, whether it is by the insurance policy that they put out, grants from America, grants from Canada, grants from UK, the average Joe or Jane chipping in, celebrities, dancehall artists, international and local, that are finding their way to these places in which the government or the relevant authority claims is maroon, claims that them can't get there, claims that this is why they are in the process, logistics process. They are still assessing and analyzing. So therefore, when they move, they are going to move fast and swiftly. People, at the end of the day, desperate times calls for desperate measure. And if we are not seeing the results, and we are hearing all sorts of yapping at the lip by the Prime Minister or the relevant authority, and what they are saying is not what we are seeing, we have to do the eye test. We have to do the common sense test, and we have to see and know that we are hearing all sorts of BS. Now, people, when it comes to persons who have a sheepish mentality, they are the worst type of person. You have to understand when it comes to the Prime Minister, and I cannot say this enough. Whenever you are the leader of a country, people put you on a pedestal, people vote you in. And then when you was voting in, you and your cumbelos, meaning the finance minister at the time, Dr. Nigel Clark, they made sure that you got a significant raise. A significant raise as in about 300%, where your salary jumped from about 9 million to 28 million over 3 times. You said in a parliamentarian meeting that if you want people to do the work, you have to compensate them. So therefore, the work that they are doing should equate to the amount of pay that they are getting. And again, the Prime Minister of Bahamas makes about 9 million. The Prime Minister of Jamaica makes about 28 point something million, and that is facts. So therefore, the country whose dollar is equal to the United States and have a wealthy economy and the people are doing good that they don't even need a visa to go to America, is making 3 times less than the government of Jamaica, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, whose dollar is 1 to 160 or so, and the people are suffering. Make it make sense. So therefore, when people are telling you that you're moving inefficiently, it is because you are well compensated compared to doctors, nurses, policemen. And like I've always said, to whom much is given, much is expected. So therefore, when you say you want a raise and you justify that raise, we want to see the result. We want to get bang for our bucks. And if we think that we're not getting bang for our bucks, and if we see that the common man, Joe Arjane, dancehall artist, social media personality, international stars, international organization come and dip on foot and is waiting to be sent out and do what they need to do. And we see a man coming from America, they on a little paddle boat, they in a some sort of refrigerator, and is trying to help persons. As a matter of fact, if you think that what that man said is an isolated incident, I want you to take a look to our next video that a man made showing how he gets about the community in a Black River and people. This video is a couple of days old. However, the message is going to be the same. Take a listen, take a look.
Me I try to get food, you know. Sometimes I get a little bag, sometimes I not get anything from morning. Me here say this helicopter bring food for the people. But me no know, me no really see anything I forward up yet, so me I say might be tomorrow.
So people, like I said, what that humanitarian group said is not a lie. We've seen the videos, we've heard the audios, we've seen everything that is going on. The people that are maroon can't even get around on foot, don't have no food, don't have no water, don't have no shelter. So on day 10, 11, or 12, I am not sure, people are still out here facing the elements. Not being in the national stadium, national arena, there's no sort of strategy that was planned for them. So therefore, it is total chaos and confusion. And what makes this situation even worse is that we knew that this hurricane was coming. And we knew that it could be as bad as it could be. There's a saying that goes something like this: he who fails to prepare, prepares to fail. So therefore, the hurricane was hovering because it knew, or she knew, that Jamaica moves very, very slowly. Jamaica coming like them kind of retarded, them kind of slow in the brain. Them nana head, them nana sense. Them always drag them foot. So therefore, it was given us enough time to strategize, analyze, and assess the situation. So like me say, he who fails to prepare, prepares to fail. But it seems as if Jamaica was prepared because the finance minister at the time, Dr. Nigel Clark, spoke to the fix and told them why he applied for that loan or grant or insurance policies. Sorry. I want you to take a look to the edited version of the interview that he did with the fix, and then I'll give my piece.
Jamaica became the first small country in the world, right, to issue independently something that is known as a catastrophe bond. We're a small country that is susceptible, vulnerable to natural disaster shocks, i.e., hurricane, tropical cyclone, etc. That if it occurs can put the government out because it, lots of expenses.
Yeah.
And it became very clear to me. And I said, look, if I get the chance, I will never leave Jamaica exposed to the effect of natural disaster again in terms of fiscal exposure, because I came face to face with the possibility of what that would mean. Meaning that over that period, I'm having discussions with IMF about how we would have to upsize what we were about to announce.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to think measures, countermeasures.
Exactly. Yeah. In the end, thank God, praise God, the hurricane did this, and it went up and hit Haiti. Unfortunately, 800 people died in Haiti.
Wow.
And that was a hurricane that went all the way to New Jersey and reduced New Jersey to being like a developing country. I think we can all remember that.
Yeah.
So what we decided to put in place a multi-layered strategy of financial instruments that delivers resources in the event of a natural disaster.
So people, you heard what Dr. Nigel Clark, who eventually became finance minister, before leaving for a job with the IMF in New York City, United States. So therefore, he planned and prepared for that policy. However, how is it that years later, when the policy came into play, they were not prepared for what they had expected, anticipated years before that. So therefore, if you know and if you expected, that is why you pay these premium and that is why you're able to cash out. How is it that you did not hit the ground running? People, we just have to make it make sense. So when you see that Andrew Holness is getting this criticism, it is not unjust, it is justified. Because like I said, they were prepared, allegedly. They were given the amount of money that they said that they needed so that they can do the country's management. However, what we are now seeing is mismanagement. However, what makes this worse is that not only are these persons not delivering, they have a whole bunch of idiots out here that are defending them at all costs. Even when they are wrong and strong. These people, a bunch of incompetence, have a whole bunch of facilitators that see them doing nothing wrong, including politicians in a parliament. However, social media personalities. These persons are nothing less than some bully, or they're trying to bully who they can. However, one thing that you cannot debate, you cannot argue with success, and you cannot debate the truth. Because when somebody tells you the truth and they give you video, they give you audio, they give you evidence, you can go on a platform, you might not hear about it as ignorant as some of you guys are. It is called Google. And anything that you hear people say, all you have to do is put in a Google search, and I understand that we live in an era of technology, and you have AI and you have this. But you should be able to decipher what is truth, what is fact. Whenever you Google and you see 100 million people are talk about it, and then you can do some sorts of data track and find out, yes, this did happen at that specific time. So me just say, information is out there for all who want information. So my point is this, these persons are trying to bully persons from putting out information out there, from exposing, from putting out the truth. So therefore, it seems, I don't know if they are officially paid or them just take it upon themselves being sheep, defenders of wrong, always trying to justify whatever somebody says that is wrong or is not doing what they are supposed to be doing. Not only they want to defend him, not only they want to be facilitators of FUCKRY, they are also trying to hinder persons from exposing the inefficiency. Constructive criticism, they don't want this information to get out, so therefore they go in their feelings and them go upon social media and they make all sorts of posts. They are no better than the people that are conspiracy theorists that are spreading rumor that Andrew actually caused the hurricane, Andrew and some people, because of his wherever city might try building a 2030 in a St. Elizabeth. They are no different. There is misinformation. And it is funny that the government, meaning Andrew Holness, spoke about misinformation. I want you to take a look to exactly what he said, and then I'll give my piece.
How you feel will largely guide how you act. And there are a lot of people out there who are deliberately creating misinformation. And my job is to give you the correct information. If you choose not to listen to it, that's your business. But at least the correct information must be out there. I've seen someone say, Prime Minister don't like criticism. Nonsense. Not every opinion makes sense. I am not one who fears criticism. But there are people who fear me when I respond to them. Be assured that I will respond to any nonsense that is put out. Not to be distracted. The critical ones. Because managing information is also an important part of the disaster management. If you allow people to cast your nation into despair and grief, to smother hope, to ignore the heroic efforts that people are making, and to just focus on the negative, then we'll have a negative outlook in a time when we need people to be positive in their outlook about our recovery. So I ask all Jamaicans of good mind and goodwill to stand up to those who are seeking to become popular on negativity.
So people, you heard what the Prime Minister says. He is not one that fears or shies away from criticism. However, those persons that are defaming his character, that are spreading rumors, that are giving misinformation that could lead to persons actually getting hurt or persons losing their life, sending all sorts of threats to the Prime Minister or his family or his Kumbala. He is going to make sure that they get a proper lawsuit or get a proper sentence in a jail. However, he did not speak about his persons that are his facilitators, defenders, wrong and strong, that are also sending misinformation, that are also trying to hinder persons from getting information, the true information, to see the situation as it is, and also the situation as it pertains to health is going to get immensely worse. And this is also based on a video that has been circulating all over social media where some very suspicious oily substance is ending up on the shore in a Clarendon. I want you to take a look, and then I'll give my piece. Now, people, this is my disclaimer. Whenever there's any sorts of hurricane catastrophe, you're always going to have debris on the shore. Whenever you see any sorts of unusual amount of oily substance washing onto the shore, in any shoreline in a Jamaica, and you see dead fish, you see dead animal, this is just a sign of things to come, that the health situation is going to get very, very bad. So based on what experts are saying, this is just a sign of things to come. This is one of the many things that we are going to see that is going to be unusual. So it is only inevitable that there's going to be diseases from A to Z that is going to be spreading. And Jamaica community is going to get sick, meaning literally sick of the situation and literally sick. Now, what makes the problem even worse and compound a bad situation, make it even worse, is that we see that the relevant authority, the government, is not taking responsibility, not being held accountable for their bad decision-making process. What they are now doing is playing the blame game. So the agency that is responsible for taking care of hurricanes and stuff like that, OPDM or whatever them name, sorry, I know that I am screwing it up. We see that there was a replacement with the director and there's a new director. I want you to hear what the employees or persons that are responsible had to say about the government's choice and the decision that the government is making, and him blaming the persons that are working there, saying that they are not doing everything when all the while he is the director, he is the head of the ship. So therefore, if the ship capsizes, he has to blame himself. Take a listen, take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
The employees at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management are qualified individuals who have given sterling contribution over many years to the people of Jamaica. Many of them have qualified themselves locally and internationally and have been working for peanuts for many years, yet they continue to give selflessly to the people of Jamaica. The problem is that Odpen have been starved of resources and have not been able to function at the capacity that they should. The employees are not the problem. The employees have given sterling contribution. In fact, they are demoralized by the statement made, and a number of them have reached out to me. I don't think at this time that such a statement should be made that would cause the employees who are, by the way, have not seen some of their family members for the last 2 weeks and have been on the ground making sure that Jamaica recover from this massive hurricane. And I believe that at this time, we ought to be empathetic, because public servants, specifically those in disaster preparedness and those on the front line, have given selflessly to this country.
So people, you hear what the lady have to say. The blame game is going around. Nobody wants to take responsibility. Nobody wants to be held accountable. So therefore, them start to point on this one, that one, this one, I lose them job. However, the person that should actually lose their job is the Prime Minister for his incompetence and lack of proper management, lack of foresight, lack of everything, point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.